Here is. Yeah. So, Dr. Hassan, you have a minute or two to introduce yourself. You can share the screen. Okay. So, Dr. Hassan has a vast experience working. I know him for last maybe 20, 25 years. Okay. So, he was in Microsoft. He is now in SAP. He knows the IT part of the industry very well, better than anybody else, I can say. So, Dr. Hassan, welcome, and then over to you. Please, we are excited to hear from you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheikh. Can you see my screen? I'm sharing my
we are able to see your screen, yes.
Very good, very good. Thank you, everybody, for having me on this strategic summit. My name is Dr. Muhammad Hassan. I've been in the software industry, working in the software industry for almost now 30 years. I've worked, as Mr. Sheikh mentioned, for some international companies. Currently, I'm actually heading the mid-market business for SAP across MEA North. Prior to that, I was leading the services business for Microsoft, and I was also in the services business for Thomson Reuters, Accenture, and some other, ICT companies. Today, I would like to have a helicopter view of what are the strategies or the key trends and strategies that companies in the professional services business look after and look for. So I'm going to start by just like a helicopter view of what are the key business challenges in the professional services industry, and then hopefully zoom in on some of the priorities for the software and services business. In the professional services industry, any generic professional services industry, and I've chosen this industry specifically because it's a huge industry and covers so many aspects of and businesses under the professional services. But there are some common challenges among all these companies where a lot of these companies, they don't have really one version of the truth. They lack comprehensive reporting about their businesses. They lack information about the cost elements of the different items that they need to run for them to run a proper service. They don't have consistent master data to start with, which actually leaves some of them exposed to compliance risks. Again, the cumbersome and manual processes is another challenge and trend that we see, another challenge that we see in this industry, which leads to inconsistent customer experiences, which we see also affecting the retention of employees within these companies, which means lost sales opportunities, lost growth opportunities, and obviously doesn't put these companies in a very competitive way. So the global trends that we see there is that prior to even COVID, to be honest, we started seeing this trend, and this trend is becoming more accentuated after COVID. A lot of these companies, they're embracing the form of virtual firms in the sense that they've realized, after COVID, that they'll need to drive their business in a digital way. For their expansion, also, it's more economical to drive their expansion in a virtual format. And that required the transition of a lot of the traditional processes they were running before to more innovative and new business models that they were not accustomed to. Another trend in this industry is heavily dependent on talent, on workforce. The challenge there was, how to empower this workforce, how to actually ensure their effectiveness in driving the services delivered by these companies, how to attract the talent, how to have a better team than the competitors, so you can deliver better services and better experiences to your customers. And with these actually trends, we're seeing also a blurring line between industries. So companies who actually used to call themselves, we're in the transportation business, we're a taxi firm. There are no more, if they continue with that kind of mentality, you'll see companies like Uber, like Careem, like so many platform companies overtaking their business. So the business lines are blurring and companies are getting more and more into technology and trying to innovate and trying to be more agile to deliver a better customer experience for their customers. These imperatives created the following priorities for these companies. So companies are realizing they need to empower their workforce with technology. So technology is a very important aspect of their business, helping their business to augment, supplement the delivery of the services along with the workforce they have. They need to pay a lot of attention to their talent, attract talent, nurture talent, excite them about the business models, get them to thrive and innovate. And also, they realize that they can no more offer services and products in the standard way. They'll have to innovate. They'll have to bundle services. They'll have to come up with new things that attracts their customers and differentiates them from the other companies. Now, these trends are applicable to most of the companies in the professional services industry. But if we start really zooming a little bit more about how businesses in the professional services industry were running in the past, we will see that these businesses were always tied to the headcount. The more resources you inject, the more revenue growth you will get, the more customers you can acquire, and it's a linear model where margins are very stringent, very limited, because I know if I want to grow, I'll have to add more resources, and without adding more resources, then the growth will be limited. Now, and that's why these companies started embracing the new innovative models of doing business, not just relying on workforce, despite the fact that workforce is a very important aspect of their business, but embracing technology to help him with a non-linear growth revenue model. So embedding their intellectual property and automation within the service they're offering, empowering their workforce with technology, and having an end-to-end talent management processes to keep their people excited, to keep them innovative, and to make them more effective, packaging their end-to-end services as a service rather than as a product to their companies. They started realizing that the augmentation of all these concepts to their business helps them to grow non-linearly and in a better shape. And it doesn't mean adding one headcount would give me more revenue. You can, sweat the people you have. You can get more out of them. And that actually was reflected specifically on the software and services industry, which is actually a sub-industry of the professional services. So we've seen this more clearer in the software and services business, where companies were thriving to have new business models. Companies want to build platforms for their businesses. They want to deliver an end-to-end solution as a service. They want to innovate in even the models of delivering this end-to-end solution. Some of them start with subscription, but others look at offering customers a pay-as-you-go model. And more innovative software providers, they actually go for outcome-based subscription. And a lot of these companies start paying a lot of attention to their customers. So no more I can sell you a piece of software, implement it for you and walk away. That doesn't work anymore. We need to measure your consumption. We need to ensure that you're utilizing the software. It's giving you actually the business outcomes that you're looking for, so you can keep your subscription, so you can continue to be attached to your software provider. Obviously, that model has got its a lot of positives in terms of helping you compete better, helping you serve your customer better, being easier to do business with. But it's got also, let's call it risks and things that, you know, these software companies kept in mind. How to optimize their margins. Margins no more can be huge margins. It's a service that you're delivering to the customers. You need to worry a lot about the health of the bottom line. And a lot of these companies started employing the rule of 40, a rule that was put by one of the investors, I believe by the name of Brad Flynn, where for any software company to have a healthy business in the as a service model or end-to-end solution as a service model, they need to maintain a combined growth rate higher than 40%. That will allow them to do that, obviously, with this model. But more important, they need to maintain a healthy profit margin of more than 40% for them to survive and for them to thrive as a company. So the focus on profitability was very high there. And the ease to, you know, of doing business with. So customers start feeling that I no more need to spend years and years of implementation for the software. I can just, you know, subscribe, get a quick implementation of my software, start enjoying the benefits of the business, and that helps me improve my efficiency and effectiveness. So all these trends led to the model of as a service, consumption-based or KPI-based, and I'll talk in the coming slide a little bit more about it, and also the importance of optimizing the operational processes, the you know, end-to-end processes within any company. Again, the software and services business, companies started by having distinct products and services. So they develop the product, they put some services around it, they offer it either as a fixed cost or a time and material, and they run projects, and they started actually providing offerings out of this product that they developed. They started bundling this product with services. So no more I sell you the product and you can acquire the services separately. I can give you a good package. I can give you a good package to maintain the software that I'm delivering for you. And that model is the model that has been prevalent for the last, I would say, 10, 15 years. But many companies, and as per a survey done by McKinsey in 2020, more than 60% of companies, they are planning, they're already selling. This was like in 2020, we're already selling or planning to move to an end-to-end solution as a service. They're bundling these products, but offering them as a service, and they're innovating in how to offer them, whether this is subscription-based or pay-as-you-go or KPI-based. Again, in the old model, you need to provide specific IT training and enablement services, custom developed applications, consulting services. In the packaged and bundled products and services, started offering complete managed ICT services. You have data centers. So you can see the evolution that software companies have been going through by offering their services. And these days, we're offering different flavors of as a service, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and you know, a lot of services are being delivered as a service. For this business model, which is end-to-end solution as a service, you can have different ways of, again, offering this. As I mentioned, we're transitioning to the subscription. Some customers charge monthly subscription fees. Other customers charge yearly fees, semi-annual fees. Some of them, they charge you per use, so pay as you go. They give you the flexibility to adjust the services as you go along to fit your needs. Today, you may have this specific service. Tomorrow, you may not need it, and you want to use the, let's call it, subscription that you're paying to have better use. And finally, a lot of companies are going for outcome-based. Give me your KPIs, and I'll tell you what I can do with your KPIs. I can improve your profitability. I can improve your, let's say, gross margins. I can help you achieve efficiency in doing projects, etc., etc. And then I will charge you based on that. I'll take a cut of your profitability. I'll take a percentage of any improvement and efficiencies that you achieve out of my software. Now, we've been talking about the strategic view for the software and services companies, which is everything as a service, a total talent management, and empowering workforce with technology. But if we try and zoom a little bit more into what that means, how these priorities can be translated in a value chain view, we will see that these priorities will impact so many end-to-end processes within any company and so many stakeholders. So not just the CEO, CFO, COO, CHRO, but it will impact the project manager in the field. It will impact the resource manager who needs to really staff people on time and get talent and utilize these talent to the best possible way. It will impact the procurement head, where this person will need to identify the revenue leakages, how to optimize project margins, etc., etc. So the end-to-end processes that these priorities impact are huge. I'm going to focus on quite few, which is the lead to cash for projects, the lead to cash for digital services, the hire to retire processes, and the source to pay processes. And all of these processes, companies would benefit from having all of them integrated, automated, agile, to help them become better and more responsive to their customers and create even a better engagement for their employees. And that's why a lot of companies strive to adopt the best practices in their industries, and even always seeking the next practices or the future practices that would make them at the lead in any competition. And they wouldn't be able, obviously, to achieve this unless they're armed with a vertical or industrial edge. And that vertical or industrial edge would come from innovating new business models for their businesses. So the end-to-end value chain that we typically see, and again, this is a view for a typical professional services industry. So you have the design, sell, and plan phase, where you design your packages, the services you want to sell, and put their ways of or methodologies for how to sell them. What is your value proposition? How to create leads, how to do business development, create leads, and then qualify the deal and move through the opportunity, nurturing the opportunity, configuring the price to be competitive, and then closing and ending up with contracts and setting up the solution. So this phase is very common for all professional services companies, which is what we call the design and sell and plan phase. Then once you've sold the services or products or bundled managed services, you need to move obviously to the projects phase or the delivery phase, where you have projects. You could be having subscription services. You have services contracts to deliver or products to implement. And then along the delivery and monetization of the services that you're delivering, you need to worry about how to build a customer, how to manage accounts receivable, how to go more and do more analysis for your profitability, for the profitability of the service, to optimize the price and end up with a better recognized revenue for a company, that would drive obviously your growth and your revenue targets. And all of these processes are heavily tied to your finances as a company. So the accounting and financial close, to the cost management and profitability analysis, to the governance and risk that you have within your company, to treasury and working capital management. Now, with the transfer that we're talking about in professional services to more towards the as a service model, I'm not gonna dwell that much about the sell and plan or the bill and manage, but you can see that the design of the service is even moving towards in the middle, where you really trying, so typically you can see on the first bar, typically you would have a project, you would assign resources, you would procure the services, material required to run the project, manage the travel and expenses, record time, and manage the work being delivered. In a subscription model, you're no more doing that. You're actually delivering the whole project as a service to your customer. So you worry about subscription and provisioning when the service would start. What is the customer is entitled for as part of their contract? So this is entitled management, and then what the customer wants to use and how to measure also that usage ongoing. So it's not just like a project phase and you walk away. It's an ongoing process for managing the subscription. And then obviously the charging and the rates and the packaging of the service, and it goes back again. This is for subscription-based or XaaS solutions. That can be also accompanied with services contracts, where obviously the customer need to procure the services to implement, for example, the service they're subscribing to, or to maintain it. Field service planning, obviously, dispatching of resources. So the resource element will still be there in the services contract. And it's a cycle really that goes on. And then this doesn't mean that the sell and plan or the bill and manage processes are going to stay the same. They'll have to adapt because now you're offering a different type of projects to your customers. So your billing used to be probably before based on milestones of the project. Now it's converting to be based on business outcomes, based on entitlement usage, based on it could be a flat, monthly or annual fee, and obviously the cost element of all these services needs to be managed in a different way. Now, moving specifically to the software industry, software and services industry, again, you will see that this is more accentuated. So the focus on having services, orders, or contracts is no more as important as having a digital subscription service, where what I've mentioned before in the previous slide applies more accentuated. You'll still see also customers who wants to do projects in a typical way and maybe develop software in a typical way as per the line at the end or the bar in yellow. But more and more of customers wants to go for the digital subscription type that we can see here. I wanted just to give you a brief, and I'm conscious of time, so I'll try and wrap up in the coming 10 minutes just to give more time for questions there. SAP, I work for SAP. I've been working for SAP now for about 10 years. SAP has been in the industry of managing digital transformations for the last actually 51 years. So this slide is a little bit old. We've been actually delivering solutions for project and engagement management, talent management, resource management, digital business models, different digital business models. And what makes SAP unique is that we provide clear industry roadmaps. So all these solutions come with a specific industry roadmap for innovation, for utilization, along with predefined best practices. Across the 51 years that we've been operating in the market, we've managed to gather a lot of best practices. We documented them to help customers end up with optimized end-to-end processes, utilizing best practices. And you can see on this slide that this is like a small list of our customers, so big names in the services industry like Deloitte, Accenture, PMG, EY, PwC, IBM, Entity Data, Infosys, so many companies really in consulting and IT services, software and subscription services. Microsoft, they run on SAP. Apple, they run on SAP. All of these companies, they've embraced the all these digital transformation strategies that I've talked about and utilize them for their benefit. And I'm proud to say that more than 77% of the world transactions run through SAP systems in more than 180 countries. More than 94% of the world leading 500 companies, they run on SAP. And these are not necessarily large companies. So yes, 85 out of 100 largest companies that are on SAP, but also more than 80% of small, medium-sized enterprises run on SAP. There's this perception that SAP is only for large enterprises. That's not necessarily accurate. And as you can see, SAP, I'm the head of mid-market, and I'm seeing we're signing up actually more than 200 to 200 plus customers every year just in EMEA North, which is actually a portion of the whole of. And again, we are armed with a strong partner ecosystem across 30 countries. We've got more than 22,000 partners who help us with this strategy. And the flagship solution that SAP employs to help companies, whether they're in the professional services industry, the software and services industry, to thrive and to drive their digital transformation in a systematic way, is called S/4HANA Cloud. This is an end-to-end industry-led solution backed with best practices and the future practices as well. We are always striving to enhance the best practices we have to give our customer cutting-edge best practices. We provide one source of truth for all our customers, comprehensive end-to-end solution that fosters innovation and helps customers thrive. This is armed with the best of breed and next generation user experience. So we aim to provide our customers with the best and optimized performance to ensure the ease of use of our solution. And it's really a platform that fosters innovation. So it's not just a piece of software you buy. It's actually a complete package that helps you, thrive in your business armed with the best practices and even innovate there. So our technology embeds in there machine learning, RPA, digital assistance, IoT, blockchain, all these wonderful technologies that I'm sure we've some of my colleagues talked about, about artificial intelligence and machine learning in the previous slots. We embed them in our technology, but we employ them for business benefits. So we don't just like take these solutions just to wow our customers. If we don't help them to progress their business to the next level with these technologies, then that wouldn't be a good use of such technology. And we've got an open architecture, open for innovation and integration. Just as a quick view of this, we've talked about the traditional model of services and projects, coming up with products, installation and support, all of that. That's now all that solution-centric approach can be implemented using the model that you can see on your right, where S/4HANA Cloud it is at the center of this model, armed with line of business solutions. So it's specific solutions that helps procurement thrive, that helps your workforce thrive, that helps your customers have a wonderful experience, your contractors have a great experience and be very much attached to your business, that helps you manage the procurement cycle in the best possible way, as well as industry cloud solutions. So for every industry, we have an industry flavor. So for the professional services industry, we have a flavor, but if you go to the industry of the software and services business, then we go deeper into what makes companies in this industry thrive more and more. And this is armed with a business technology platform where all these solutions sit on top of that, achieves full integration among all these solutions. So you don't need to worry about if this system works with that or whatever, but more importantly, helps you foster innovation and helps you employ machine learning, artificial intelligence technologies within the solution itself and drive new business models. And this is another view of the SAP portfolio. So we have what we call the intelligent core, and we call it intelligent because we've already embedded these technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and machine learning within the core ERP. Obviously, that's where the core finance and procurement sits on top of that. You have a real-time foundation, so all analytics that you get are in real time. You don't need to wait for reports for a couple of weeks or a couple of days where the data may be invalid by that time. You get real-time view of your business. And this is armed with the business technology platform that we discussed, where we've got predefined code, almost zero coding capabilities there to help you develop the functionalities you want, the use cases you want in a quicker way. And on top of that, you have the lines of business solutions that we've talked about. So you have systems to manage your travel and expenses, systems to manage your procurement cycle, SAP Ariba, to manage your contingent force and contractors, to manage your total workforce end to end from hire to retire, to have a better customer experience with the sales, services, and marketing and delivery. And then on top of that, an analytics cloud platform that gives you a real-time visibility on your system. Not to forget also the industry cloud solution specific. For example, subscription billing has got a different way to handle your finances. We've got a solution for that. Entitlement management, we can, for any type of service, we can define every customer's entitlement of the service and from their contract, take it there and have a profile for this customer. So the customer would know what they're entitled for, what they're not entitled for. If they decide to upgrade their service, their entitlement would change, and they would have a quick and transparent view of that change. And again, this is specific for the software model. It doesn't change that much, to be honest, from what I've seen. It's the same solution, but the best practices behind it are different there. And you can see it's a more tied up solution where we've got a simple software selling quote to cash process, because the software now is not being sold in the typical way. It's being sold as a service. It could be KPI based, it could be annual subscription, or it could be pay as you go. Thank you very much. I just wanted to give you a quick brief about the trends, the priorities, and why our professional services customers wants to go for digital transformation, and offer a glimpse of what could be the solution for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Hassan, for insightful business models for the services industry. I think many of the people who are into services industry get benefit of the models. Okay, so I would like to have a couple of questions with you.
Sure.
Just related to the strategy. Okay, so people get confused with strategy transformation to the digital transformation. Okay, so people say we are doing a digital transformation, then that means, is it really a strategy transformation, or is it like a automation? Oh, can you give just some insights from your experience, how the users are getting confused with the digital transformation to the strategy transformation? Yeah.
Very good. In my opinion, digital transformation is one of the outcomes of a strategy transformation. A lot of companies, they look at their business from a strategic point of view, right? And they look at actually their competitors, what they're doing in the market, how they can make their companies better than their competitors, how they can control and manage the key challenges they have in their business. And they start defining their strategy, how they want to differentiate themselves against the competition, how they want to acquire more customer base, improve their profitability, improve their growth, to make them more attractive, if it's a public company, more attracting to the shareholders, and therefore a stronger and better company. So it starts from there, really, where they set the mindset of the company that we no more can do things in the way that we used to do them before. What worked with us, even if we're very successful, will always really need to be seeking change and need to be adapting to the new business conditions that faces us every year. So it starts really with that strategy transformation, defining new strategies, and being on the lead for these new strategies. And this is also where SAP, we can help them in defining the future trends. Okay, so we actually execute workshops with our customers, not just to discuss what we offer right now, but to discuss technology trends, to discuss industry trends, where these industries are heading, and help them formalize their strategies with what fits their business. And then obviously one of the outcomes, good outcomes of such discussions is customers are getting very, very smart. They realize that they need to go for digital transformation journeys, and sometimes it's an ongoing digital transformation journeys, because they understand the value of technology. It's not just about having a wonderful product, it's about how you employ this wonderful product for the better use of your business. And it's about how you transform your company in the most efficient, quickest way possible. Okay, because if you don't do this on time, you will end up also with okay, the company is transforming, but it's not at the lead. It's actually a lagging company rather than a leading company. So I think we've lost my video. Not sure why.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
One more question, Dr. Hassan, is what strategy execution framework you use it internally, like you use it in SAP itself? Okay, you do your business or something. Is there something like you use any particular methodology, a framework? How do you do that for selling your products and services? Yeah, that's a
Okay,
question.
very good. Very good question, although I would need another session to answer this. But let me try and cover this very quickly. Yes, we do. First of all, we have something within SAP called, let me start, there's a product development methodologies to make sure that we're continuing to develop our products. We're continuing to, I'm not going to touch on that. This is typical product management software development cycles. But I want to actually focus more on what touches the top line and bottom line of SAP. So yes, we employ methodologies, first of all, to help us develop business. So we've put there methodologies to start, reaching out to the maximum number of customers, and we employ for that the 22,000+ partners that we have. So we train our partners on how we as SAP develop business. All of this is, by the way, under the umbrella of what we call franchise for success. So this is the, let's call it the leading methodology that SAP employs worldwide. So SAP treats every market unit as if it's a franchise. We give this franchise the best practices that we've developed across the whole company to sell, to develop, to deliver projects, to manage customers, etc., under the umbrella of franchise for success. And that franchise for success is not just for SAP employees. It also spans our partners. So we train our partners on how we sell at SAP, how we create value propositions, how we do business development, how we start qualifying leads and taking them to specific phases of the opportunity. And by the way, we use all our software for that. So we're the ones, we're like, using our software before even our customers use our software. And that's what makes actually SAP successful, because we are really, practicing what we tell our customers. So we take them through the different stages of an opportunity life. We have an opportunity life cycle, driving it from being a lead all the way to progressing to a solution, then going to negotiation and offering different packages to the customer where we close the deal with them. And then this gets handed over to the delivery team, where the delivery team, whether they are SAP delivery team or partner delivery team, they employ another methodology for delivery called SAP Activate. And basically this SAP Activate has got well-defined delivery phases for the software that helps our customer get to value as quick as possible. So our aim is to do projects in the shortest period of time, but delivering the maximum value to our customers based on the best practices that we've employed. So we again go through multiple phases. Again, could be spending at least half an hour to talk about the SAP Activate methodology. And then it doesn't stop there. So the SAP delivery phase is part of a bigger picture, which is what we call the LACE model. We land the deal, L for landing the deal with the opportunity management and till signing the contract. Then the adoption model, the A in the LACE, which is where we use SAP Activate methodology to implement the software in the shortest possible time and giving the customer the maximum benefit out of the software. Then we move to the C phase, which is the consumption phase, where we start monitoring. We have KPIs that keeps monitoring the consumption of our customers to the software to ensure, and we have systems to track that and processes to track that to ensure customer is continuing to get the expected value of the software. And then we go to the last phase, which is the E phase and the LACE model, LACE. The E phase is the expansion model, where we start selling value. We go back to the L phase, but we start selling more value, but based on a concrete base, because the customer by that time would have believed that they got the value out of our flagship product, our core solution, and they would want to expand this to more and more solutions from SAP, and the trust is there. The selling then cycle is much easier because the trust is there. They've seen us taking care of them. They've seen us throughout all these phases, helping them to thrive and achieve their business outcomes. And by the way, this is where we also start gathering KPIs about what are the business outcomes that my customer got out of my software. So we get their consent to measure these. Obviously, we're not allowed to give them to customers, but we're allowed to share aggregates of them. So we can put their concrete data where SAP, for example, helped professional services companies improve their profitability margins by 4% by employing this solution. This is based on concrete data that we measure. This is when I was mentioning the outcome-based approach is we measure what is the business value that my customer is getting, and we provide this in an aggregated method to other customers who are interested to know how our solutions can help them.
Perfect. So any more questions? Please, guys, you have a couple of minutes to get the answer from Dr. Hassan. A very different point of view on the services industry and the software industry. Okay, so we think about the strategy execution in a different point of view. So we can see how the SAP working towards the for their strategy execution from their side, how they acquire customers and excel in their business. So that is very interesting inputs. So any more final thoughts, Dr. Hassan, on the strategy management part?
I would like to thank everybody for listening, and I'm more than happy to receive questions on my email address. I think you can see it on the screen. Actually, maybe I'm not sharing it. It's m.hassan, Hassan, @sap.com. Looking forward to hearing from you, your feedback, your views, your questions. Thank you very much.
Perfect. So thank you, Dr. Hassan, for a wonderful lecture. And then thank you all. If there is any questions, please feel free. So we consolidate and make sure that the queries are gets answered to you. and our coordinators will definitely help you to get it into it.